Hello everyone, my name is piepenguin and welcome to a new Skyblock series. Our little island here is a bit warmer than a usual Skyblock island, you might notice, partly because we're in a Savanna biome, but there's also this pit of lava that's threatening to burn down the only tree in existence, so we should probably do something about that. We are on hard mode, so fire spreads quite quickly, which means we don't have a huge amount of time before our only hope of living is gone forever. Now, if we don't break the logs in the middle, these leaves shouldn't be decaying, so we should be fairly safe here. Bye-bye, stick. Oh, there we go. Okay. Please don't burn the tree. Thank you, lava. Right, so now if I fall off, we're done forever. Just don't fall off. Hello, leaf. Well, with acacia trees now saved from total extinction, let's maybe plant these somewhere a little safer. I guess we can take the corners. We've got to be a little bit careful here to not get rid of all of the grass. Let's go this way. I'm hesitant to build without a block underneath because we now can't break this dirt without risking losing it forever. But I'm not sure if planks would burn if we put them here. Well, we gotta wait on this tree anyway, so... Is it worth... I mean, we have some extra, so let's put that there. Can crafting tables burn? I'm not sure. Let's place it here anyway. Let's try and get a chest that isn't gonna burn to pieces. And what's probably worth getting? Some way of getting underneath this dirt so we're not gonna lose it. Okay, let's go underneath. I am hoping these aren't going to burn, but if they do, there's not much we can do about it. The main thing is to try and catch anything that drops from these. Let's put a chest down. And the saplings. You know, I'm going to keep one, just in case it burns and I don't fall off into the void. I think we'll put some slabs around here though, just to try and catch anything if it falls. Again, hopefully that's outside of burning. I don't think it is, but maybe they won't burn. Oh, that's a big tree. Wow. Oh, we're burning. Okay. Let's get this and get down. No, please don't burn the block I'm standing on. Okay, well, can confirm that these slabs do burn. That's fine. We're using slabs here for two reasons. One is that they're cheaper than planks, of course. But also, without any water, we can't make any cobblestone. So we can't make a furnace. So we can't smelt anything, so we can't get any charcoal, and we can't get any torches. Which means until we can get some water, or maybe a different kind of light source, we're stuck with bottom slabs. With our first night in the sky almost over, it's back to harvesting trees. With no one to block the sun, it's kind of weird that there's even a night, now that I think about it. Also, I know I could make wooden tools, of course, but all we would be doing is using some of this wood that we desperately need to save a little bit of time that we have to wait anyway, so there's really not that much point in making tools. At least not until we're building some things that are a bit more substantial than some slabs. While these trees are great and all, we really could do with some bone meal. We could just build a mob farm here and just, you know, tussle with the mobs on a terrifying platform above the void, but there's a much more efficient way. All the way down there. Well, not to the moon, but, you know, to the void. How are we going to do that, though? Because we don't have any water. Well, I suppose we could use the lava and hope we don't burn to death. I'm not sure how far we would get doing that. We have another way of getting down, and that is with trapdoors. with these, we can actually get arbitrarily far downwards. That's a weird way of putting that. So how does this work? Well, we need some solid blocks first. We place a trapdoor on the top, a trapdoor on the bottom, and then if we sneak under here, we can go in crawl mode. And now we're in crawl mode, we can place a block underneath that trapdoor. And we've just built downwards. We can replace this one with a bottom slab, then mine these trapdoors, place another one on the top, another one on the bottom, go into swim mode, place a block. And place a bottom one. And slowly but surely, we will descend. We do need to make sure to replace these with bottom slabs. Otherwise, mobs are going to spawn on our staircase, which will not be a fun time. But we can't use slabs initially because, you know, we need to place on the top of the block. Maybe at this point I might want an axe. Let's get to and be optimistic. If you try this trick, you need to make sure that you're not sneaking when you first press the trapdoor and then sneaking when you try and place the block, because otherwise you'll just flip the trapdoor again, or you won't flip the trapdoor the first time. So why are we going all the way down to the bottom of the world? Well, the short answer is because mobs spawn faster. But why actually is that? Well, the first important thing is that because we're in Skyblock, we get to choose really easily when mobs are even allowed to spawn. This platform here is the only space in the world where mobs would be able to spawn. There aren't any other blocks that they could spawn on. So when we turn on spawning, the only mob spawns that succeed are those on our mob farm. And they spawn super quickly. You can also see in the top right, we've hit the mob cap of 70 mobs, and all of those mobs are in our farm, which is great. If there were lots more spaces in the world where mobs were able to spawn, then a much smaller proportion of all of the mobs would spawn inside our farm. So the first reason we want to build low down is just because there's nothing else nearby. But there's also another mechanic, and we can see that if we add a ceiling to one half of this platform, mobs can't spawn on this because it's glass. They can still spawn down here. So this hasn't changed the number of spaces that mobs would be allowed to spawn. But if we spawn mobs now, most mobs spawn on the side without the ceiling, and there aren't very many mobs spawning on the side with the ceiling. So why is that? Well, when Minecraft tries to spawn a mob, first it chooses a random column inside the chunk. Maybe it chooses this one. It then counts from the very bottom of the world up to the highest block in that column, which is this one here. It then tries to spawn a mob between the lowest block and the one above the highest block. So we have 8 blocks that it can choose from. If it chooses this block, then the mob can't spawn because it's inside the block. If it chooses this one, then the mob is on top of a solid block, so that one's okay. This one, this one, this one, this one would all be in the air. This one would be in a solid block, and then this one would also be okay. So out of the 8 possible spaces, 2 of them are acceptable spaces for spawning. If it chose this column though, Minecraft looks from the bottom of the world up to the highest block, which is this one. And then it chooses a block between the lowest one and the one above the highest. If it chooses this one, it can't spawn the mob because it's in a solid block. If it chooses this one, it can't spawn the mob. So of the 2 places it could spawn, one of them is okay, could spawn the mob, which is twice as likely as a mob spawning anywhere in this column. Even though we have 2 spawning platforms, this one is with 1 spawning platform, it's actually twice as fast. So hopefully that makes sense. We want the only allowable spaces to be in our farm. We want to build as low as possible, and we don't want any blocks above our farm. That's not really a sight I wanted to see. I'm really hoping that hasn't... Yeah, it might be faster to just jump in the void. You know what? I think it is. Because I don't have any things on me anyway. And then... Okay, the chest is fine. That's good. Hup, hup. Ow. Not the trees, not the trees. Not the trees, please. Not the trees. You're still on fire. Well, that was disastrous, but we're okay. We've got a tree. We've got some saplings. The chest didn't burn, and neither did the crafting table, which is very lucky. Well, let's rebuild. Oh, it could have caught from the tree. Maybe we don't want to let the trees grow if we're not here. That's probably what happened. Because these trees do grow at quite the angle, and some of them were over here in the past. Well, that was exciting. Back to the stairs. We have arrived. Should be at 63? Well, 63 minus 63.5, minus 63. Awesome. Doesn't look like anything's burning, so that's good. Crafting table. I might leave that here. So when I'm running down here, I can't accidentally walk off the edge. It's not pretty, but safety first. And now we climb this extremely long staircase. This will take a while. I'm thinking maybe there should be some kind of marker where these are, because I know at some point I'm gonna walk straight off this bit here. Right, they're bottom slabs, yeah, true. There we go. That was slightly terrifying, actually. And now, actually, what might be a good idea, now that we've gone down below, we could actually go underneath. Right, this should be low enough to not burn, even though lava's dripping directly on us. We can build a little platform to catch the dirt if we break it, so we don't have to be worried about grabbing the corners anymore. Now we've got this platform, we can grab this dirt here. And this dirt here. Oh, it went there. Yeah. Okay, we'll break this. And this dirt here. And this one here. There we go. We will not touch the rest of those for now. But at least we've got some more dirt. Risk-free. Let's try spread this forwards. We just want things away from the lava. And now we need more wood. So we wait. Those trees aren't going to grow while it's nighttime, so we might as well do something productive. This is no doubt going to go quite badly. Because if we get a skeleton, I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do, but we can always leave. That block should be able to spawn things at this distance. But of course we do have to be quite lucky because that's the only block that can spawn. Oh. This is a deep dark. Well, that's not a very good place to build a mob farm, is it? Never mind. Right, well, that complicates things somewhat because we're going to have to find somewhere that isn't deep dark. Wait, how big is this? Oh, we're a forest. Oh. And then deep dark. Okay. Minus 23. Okay. Well, it's daytime now, so back to the trees. Grass is spreading nicely at least. I can't believe we have a deep dark right under our base. That does make it a little tricky to build a mob farm. Tree! Now we need to find a way out of this deep dark. Because that's no good to make a mob farm in. Now, it might be more convenient if we head this way. But we don't want any blocks above our farm. So we're just going to carry on in this direction. Still deep dark. We're going to need more slabs. Aha, we're out of the deep dark, finally. Jungle, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where does it start? Oh, forest, okay. Deep dark, here. Okay, so we've got sort of from that line onwards. Okay, that wasn't as much bridging as I was worried about. Let's get a floor going. Oh, and it's raining. Can it rain in the deep dark? I'm curious. Yes, it can. Well, I suppose we might as well try and kill one mob with one shank of hunger. Yep, that didn't take long. I mean, sure, what could go wrong? Hello. Oh, my axe could break. But that works. Ooh, don't walk in the lava. Okay. Oop. And now we're back on full hunger. So, really, that was a win. Oh, spider. Oh, wow, they're hard to see, aren't they? Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, that's really unfortunate. You know, that's a really awkward space to have the respawn point. This is fine. But anyway, yeah, this nighttime is getting a little frustrating because the trees won't grow. Yeah, let's try and get a bed. So, oh, hello. Oh, you have full armor. And an enchanted bow. Yeah, you can leave if you don't mind. Thank you. Good. Now, hopefully nothing spawns before we get there. I can see red. I think we got a spider. We do. That's not so bad. I mean, we need a spider, so this is kind of perfect. Hello, spider. So, let's get rid of this block. And what we're going to do is just make a little area where they can spawn, but nothing else can. See, this is sort of right in the way, so I'd like to maybe go this way a bit. Okay, this'll do. Are we in deep dark? No, we're in a forest. Great. I think I might have forgotten to say what we're doing here. So we're just trying to make an area where spiders can spawn so that we can get string, and then with the string we can make wool, and with the wool we can make a bed. But anyway, while we're building, I wanted to just say a few things about my goals with this series. This isn't a challenge run. The goal isn't to beat Minecraft or anything like that. It's to explore all of the cool things that you can do in Minecraft when you have limitations, like being in the void and starting with just some trees, some lava, and some grass. I think there's a lot of really interesting mechanics in Minecraft that maybe aren't very well known or don't get used because they're not super applicable in a normal overworld setting, but I think they're still really interesting. And for me personally, limitation helps with creativity. So having a limited palette of blocks to build from, I find can force you to build in ways that you wouldn't otherwise build in. And that can be really exciting. So yeah, I have a lot of fun ideas and plans for this world, and I hope you'll come along and enjoy them with me too. Back to the spiders. Great, so if we put a trapdoor here, they won't be able to get out, but we'll still be able to hit them. And if we put a block here, then there'll be no light in there. Okay, so with any luck, we check the mob count, we should start to have spiders spawning. Yep, there's one. Well, one mob of some kind. This is super slow, but it's better than whatever nonsense I was trying to do here. How are we doing on the mob cap? 2 whole spiders. Wow. So lucky. Oh, and that one's enchanted. Oh, there's 3. Ow. Well, I can't afford another weapon, so... I mean, this could certainly be faster. Any more? Oh, I suppose I can make a sword. Not sure why I was so obsessed with making an axe. Oh, but now I don't have the block to... Right. Right, that's fine. We have a crafting table. We'll just use that. Perfectly designed. 1 already. Wow. 3. Ooh. Gosh, I never thought I would be excited over 3 spiders. Hello, friends. Bye. And finally, after doing something that I should have done a long time ago, we have a bed. Bed made of freshly spun spider silk. Silk bed sheets. Yep, that's definitely the marketing material for that one. Oh, well. Oops. Maybe I wasn't paying the most attention there. After mining a few hundred logs, I think we've finally got everything we need to build our first proper mob farm, and finally get enough bone meal to speed up this tree chopping business. After a lot of bridging, we're finally somewhere where we can actually build the farm. We're in a bamboo jungle at the moment. Over there is the spider platform. I don't really want to call it a farm because, you know, it's pretty bad. And that way was several hundred blocks worth of deep dark. So we're all the way over here, several hundred blocks away from the base, which is so far away you can't even see it. But it's that way somewhere. And let's get started. The farm we're using here is based on a design from a few years ago by Ilmango. I'll link it in the description. And it utilizes a really interesting mechanic to move the mobs, which we'll see soon. First though, let's get a little killing chamber built. Eventually the mobs will fall into here and then we'll just swipe at their toes. We'll place some trapdoors so we can more easily get to the drops. Now we'll go up a bit and start building a spawning platform. We are not going to go up very much because we want the farm to be as low as possible. So we won't be hurting the mobs with full damage or anything like that. Spiders won't be able to fit into the killing chamber, so we need to stop them from spawning somehow. Spiders need a 3x3 area completely clear to be able to spawn, so if we place a slab every 3rd block, then no matter where we look, there will always be a top slab in the 3x3 area around the block, stopping the spider from spawning. Now we're going to build some walls. We don't actually need these, but they help block light, which lets us use the farm during the daytime, so that's convenient. I'm making the walls out of stairs. There's a good reason for that, which we'll see in a minute. But for now, let's finish the wall up and then get a roof on. This roof does hurt the rates a little bit because it's raising the height of the highest block in each column. But we need it to be able to use the farm during daytime, so overall, it's worth it. Okay, so we're spawning mobs, but how do they get into the killing chamber? Are we just waiting for them to randomly wander in? Well, no, we're actually going to make them wander in. If we spawn a zombie and then let it do its thing, it will just wander around aimlessly. But if we make the floor out of non-full blocks, such as stairs, then no matter how long we wait, the zombie will just stand there. This is because the zombie is only allowed to wander to full blocks. If the block it chooses is a non-full block, then it won't go anywhere. This means if we place full blocks, we can control where the zombie is allowed to move to. If there's only a small number of full blocks to choose from, then the zombie is going to take a long time to wander over. But if we have lots of full blocks, then it's much more likely that the block the zombie chooses to wander to is a full block, and therefore that it will wander over. This means if we make a really big chunk of blocks near where we want the zombies to go, and this works for skeletons, creepers, and witches too, then the zombie will quickly wander over to those blocks. What we're going to do then is build a big box of blocks directly opposite the spawning platform. That way, we can trick all of the mobs into walking towards that big block and drop down into our killing chamber. And that's the reason why we built all of the walls out of stairs, because we don't want the mobs pathfinding to that part of the farm. We just want them pathfinding to the block so that they drop into the killing chamber. That's unfortunate. Let's maybe... Oh, that's another creeper. Let's maybe stop mobs from spawning before working on the farm. Okay, so we've got the big block built up. It could be bigger and should be bigger, but we've run out of wood. So this will have to do for now. If we check mob cap, oh, we're at 70 already. If we... Actually, let's get a sword. I have a little bit left for swords. If we head on over, actually, we will need to adjust one trapdoor. Oh, never mind. You can see why these trapdoors are here now. It's to stop the baby zombies. Now, a little scary. I do need to untrap these. Okay, excellent. I've only used this mob farm for a few minutes, and we've already got 59 bones, which is huge. So, no more waiting for trees. Yay! Anyway, I'm going to use the mob farm for a while and build up some more bone meal. We're going to get a ton of wood, and next time we'll get started on some actual building. I've got a great idea for a house that I want to build, and we'll do some more redstone stuff too. But until then, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!